Want to know how you can gain access to capital to jumpstart your journey to entrepreneurial success? For entrepreneurs who are just starting out or those who have been in business for years, Minority Business Access is your podcast. Welcome to our show, where we will guide you in avoiding the pitfalls and thriving in your chosen business. Now, onto the show with your host, Solomon Ali.
Wow, it's an exciting new year. The year is getting off to a really wonderful start. I want to thank everyone for joining in on Minority Business Access, MBA. I hope we are able to share some more information that you may find extremely valuable. And please, don't forget to share it with a friend, guys. You know people out there who are trying to be entrepreneurs, who are trying to start a business or run a business, or that just been in business for a while, may have been struggling, things of that nature. MBA can help them to get through some of the minefields, some of the struggles that they may be dealing with, and they may not know how to deal with the things because they've never come across that before in their life. And that's what we're here for, to be a support system to try to help you to solve those problems. You know, a team member has brought a video to my attention. The guy's name is Stefan, and he talks about how to invest for beginners, you know, and the really exciting thing about it is I looked at it and stuff, you know, people send me all kinds of stuff and they want me to take a look at it and things like that. And I really don't have a lot of time to take a look at everyone's stuff because I have other things to do, but they thought it was be of great value to the people on Minority Business Access who are actually watching it and to get it from a different perspective. So we're going to take a look at what Stefan has done. And I mean, the guy, to me, look, he did a hell of a job. He hit it out the park. He stuck with what the basics were and everything of that nature, how to do it. And he kind of walks you through the numbers. Now, some of the things that he does is a little different than how I do things, okay? But you got to understand, I've been an entrepreneur for over 30-something years. I've grown businesses, I've had failed businesses, I've started some businesses that never even took off. So I know all the different ways things don't work and a handful of ways that they actually work, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to play the video now. His name is Stefan. It's Investing for Beginners, okay? So let's take a look. And then we're going to stop it at different places, and I'm just going to give some opinions and things. And please, just keep in mind, it's only my opinion. Add your 2 cents to it, take away things like that. It's just a learning tool to help you to gather information to make you a better entrepreneur, a better business person. That's what we're trying to do here, to be a support system for you. So let's get started.
To give you guys an idea, I got started investing when I was 18 years old, and I'm now 30 years old today. At the time, I didn't know anything about investing, but I was reading these self-help books, and I read some books on finances, and I just learned some basics about investing, and I realized the most important thing is to start as early as possible, because the earlier that you have to start investing, then the more beneficial it's going to be later in your life, because then you can take advantage of compounding, which Einstein said is the 9th wonder of the world. And you know, Warren Buffett, all these investment gurus all talk about the power of compounding. I learned some basic things about that, and so I knew at 18 years old I needed to get started. And of course, the earlier that you start, then the sooner that you can make mistakes. You can learn from those mistakes. You have much higher risk tolerance, because a mistake that you might make is not going to be as costly as opposed to if you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, where you got to be a little bit more cautious and more conservative in your investment strategy. So I was 18 years old. The first book that I read on investing was called The Wealthy Barber by David Chilton. And it's more of a book geared towards Canadians, but it basically taught the principles of paying yourself first and foremost. The number one rule that the most important thing is to pay yourself first, and to invest on a monthly basis.
That for just a moment.
On a monthly basis.
Now, The Wealthy Barber, I haven't read that particular book. The book that I have read that I enjoyed, The Richest Man in Babylon. If you haven't read The Richest Man in Babylon, in my opinion, and since he is saying The Wealthy Barber, hey, go take a look at those books. In The Richest Man in Babylon, it gives you the principles and what he's going to be talking about. Now, they're going to talk about saving 10%. I tell you to save 30% because I'm trying to get you to a place inside a year and a half to have your money working just as hard as you are to where you have duplicated your income. So if you're making $100,000, I want at the end of a year and a half for you to be making $200,000. So you would still be working to earn the $100,000, but your money would be working to earn $100,000 as well from your investments and things like that that are in conservative risk. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's get back to the video.
An ongoing basis so that you can take advantage of what is called dollar cost averaging and have your investments and your money compound over a period of time. And I'm going to explain a little bit what I mean about those, but just going back to my story, I got started when I was 18. I started with about, I think, $500 as my first investment in a mutual fund. It was actually the Bank of Montreal mutual fund here in Canada. I started putting aside $25 a month on a pre-authorized payment plan to constantly buy more shares of that fund on a monthly basis. I think maybe when I was 19 years old, I made a $5,000 investment to another mutual fund and invest in a few other different things. And then I just kind of stopped. I mean, I was always kind of putting money aside every month, paying myself first, but I didn't really do any active investing for a while. But I did remember a number of years ago, I did buy Apple stock, and I had a great return from that. I did buy Facebook when Facebook just went public a number of years ago, and I made some money from that. But at the time, I didn't have a lot of money to invest. And
now, he mentioned Facebook. I had an opportunity to buy Facebook as well. When we bought Facebook, actually it was our private equity company bought Facebook. When we bought Facebook, we bought it at somewhere around between $7 and $9 a share. And when they first came out, the stock was at, I don't know, I want to say it was $31, $38 a share. And so that tells you early stage investing, being able to get in before it actually goes public, because we were in the pre-offering before it actually became public, and it was like, wow, to see those returns. Now, the only disadvantage we had was this. We followed my principles. My principles say, look at what your returns are and take some off the table. And when we hit our number, we took that off the table. And that was crazy, because if you look at what it's doing now, if we would have just held on to the same stock for a year and a half, my God, the money we would have made would have just been totally phenomenal. I mean, we made great money, don't get me wrong. To buy something in the between, I think it was $7 to $8, $9 a share, and sell at 38, that's pretty significant. That's pretty significant. And so we exit at about 38 bucks. So that's, I don't know, what's that, about almost a 500% return, somewhere in there. So people, it can be done, but you got to understand the cycle that you might be investing in. Where is the company? How mature is the company? Is the company growing by triple digits? Is the company disruptive? Has it changed the way we do things? Has it solved humans' problems? Things like that. Has it made quality of life better? Do they have a good management team? Can management team do certain things? So these are the things that you're constantly looking for. Is the industry a industry that will grow and continue to grow, okay? Or is it a shrinking industry? Are the companies in the industry, the top 5 companies in the industry, what are they doing? The business that you're investing is it bringing something different than those top 5 companies? So those are the kind of things that you have to look for. And then, of course, the company must grow by triple digits, and there must be growth in the industry. So I'm going to shut up this time, and I'm going to try to let this video play a little bit longer so we can all get it. But when he mentioned Facebook, I just wanted to say, hey, we did that one as well. And so it panned out for us.
So I remember buying like $600 worth of shares of Facebook and $800 worth of shares on Apple. So even though I did make some good returns, like percentage-wise, the return was really only a couple $100 or $1,000 or something like that. But since then, to give you guys an idea, I've done very well with business. I've learned a lot more about investing. At 30 years old, I bought a real estate property a number of years ago, I think in 2013. That is a rental property that I rent out. Strategies. And
let's pause it right there.
Advice, but I want to give you guys.
So guys, when you're investing, you have to find your niche. He's giving you his portfolio of types of investments he makes. My portfolio is very simple. At Solomon R.C. Ali Corporation, here's what we do. We help companies that are looking to go public, who are looking for capital. So either the company is looking to go public and they're looking for capital, or they're just a private company needing capital to be arranged for them, whether it be debt money or other investments. Most of the time, we're investing in these companies and we're looking at them pre-public stage, pre-going public. So just before, and we're making sure that they meet, what is the industry? Is there growth potential in the industry? What is management like? Do they have the ability to scale? Okay, because you may be able to manage what you have, but can you scale the business? Can you grow it from a $5 million company to a $20 million company? Because see, there's a lot of mechanics in there from, going from 10 employees to maybe 100 employees, crossing state lines. I remember the first time our business, when we started doing business in multiple states, we found out something as simple as, we couldn't pay them from our checking account in California. We couldn't pay somebody in Texas who was an employee. Couldn't pay someone in Oregon who was an employee. We had to use a bank and pay the employees from accounts within those particular states. Didn't know that. Okay, so these are the kind of things that they learn. Didn't know that when you cross the line, the insurances change state by state. So it wasn't like all of a sudden when we started out in California, we had all of these insurances and all the employees was covered. When we went to Texas, it was different insurance that we had to set up. So these are the things that you want to know, that management knows, and that they have the right team around them so that they don't stumble and bumble or basically cost you money if you're investing in it. You want to know that the management team has the ability to do the acquisitions, because that's how you make money. And that's where we like to be, is look at where they're going, help them to figure all that out, okay? Why do you need the money? What's the use of proceeds? So again, management can do it. Then we look at, does this business have triple-digit growth potential? So can you go from a $5 million company to a $15 million company, whether it's 12 months, 24 months, 36 months, or 60 months? Is it possible for you to make that growth and make that leap? And then we look at, is the company reinvesting in their business for this growth? What are they getting the money for? So now that's what we look for. Now, here's what we do. We make loans to companies. Okay, the different people that I normally work with in my networks and everything, they make a loan to a company. So they'll go and the company will say, we need this amount of money. And we will go ahead and put the package together. Okay, Solomon R.C. Ali and our group of attorneys and our CPAs and marketing people and all of our little analysts, we put that package together to meet the needs of the various lenders or investors and things like that. Now, once we got that all done, what we do is we introduce, the two parties together. We don't act as a promoter, a broker dealer, market makers, or anything like that. We don't even act as analysts. We just do the due diligence because we understand what needs to go into the due diligence. We understand what needs to go into an investment decision because we're making investment decisions as well. So then what we turn around and do is this. After all that is done, we introduce them to the two parties together and they do a deal. So now you got a party that's bringing the money to a management team, to an enterprise that have the things that we're normally looking for, which creates opportunities for investors who are looking whether you're investing $1,000 or whether you're investing 50 or 100,000. Now you can get in before the company is actually going public. So that company normally will loan them money. They loan them money, okay? And I want you to listen to this. How many of you have gotten a 15% return on your money last year? Just a 15%. Well, the company, when they loans them money, the company normally reserves the right, okay, to convert a portion of that loan to equity in the company at a discounted rate. Yes, you heard me correctly. The company reserves the right normally to convert a portion of the loan at a discounted rate. And so investors who follow me already know this, okay? This is how we were able to start a private equity company with $250. You heard me correctly, $250. We started a private equity company, and by the end of the year, we were loaning out millions of dollars to companies, okay? That's for real, folks. That's no BS, all right? We were loaning out millions. What did we do? We converted the loans that we were loaning out, and we were getting the equity in the companies at a discounted rate. And because we got it at a discounted rate, I'm gonna give you an example. If we lent a company $1 million, all right, and that would have been monies that were arranged, okay? If we lent them $1 million, then they will have to pay us, let's say, $1,250,000, for example, just for easy numbers, okay? Because each transaction is different. It depends on what the parties negotiate. So the investor or the lender loans the company the money. The company receives the money. They agree to pay that money back and give a 25% or whatever, okay? So now you get to buy the stock by calling that lender and saying, hey, I'll help you get out of a portion of your position and pay you back on their behalf if you sell me, let's say, $100,000 worth of that loan. And so you buy the loan, the $100,000 of the loan, the original lender keeps the difference, okay? And you turn around and you're able to get that $100,000 loan piece that you got for $125,000, right? So it's already worth, let's say, $125,000. And again, I'm just using simple numbers, okay? So now you've already up. In fact, I used the wrong number, but that in that scenario, you'll be up 25% and not 15%. But I think you get the gist of it. Most time, it's only a 15% discount. In most cases, that's what you will experience if you go and buy a portion of a loan. You'll get about a 10 to 15% discount. So you're already in the money. And you're able to sell that within a year. Now, here's one important thing. A lot of people don't talk about this when they're talking about investments. So I need you to understand this. Taxes, people. Taxes, they got to be paid. So if you sell equity in the first year, you're going to pay higher taxes. They're going to be capital gains. You're going to pay higher. If you sell it in 1 year, 1 day, you will pay lower taxes on that money. This is what you need to know, because it's not just about making an investment and making money on the investment decisions you made and things of that nature, because your investment could be partially wiped out by what? Portion of the taxes. Okay, so I don't recall exactly what the tax rate is currently, but President Obama, and they had a vote on it when he was still in office, and they had changed that, okay? So I think it's like 23% now if it's long term. If it's short term, I think it's around 18% or 21%, but it's somewhere in there. So it's significant, all right? So you want to think about that. and that's a serious piece of your investing strategy, is to know if I sell it quickly, if I sell quickly, if I buy an equity position or investment and I sell it within a year, I will pay higher taxes on that money. If I sell it after a year and one day, I will pay lower taxes. That's very important because employees, depending on how much income you make, you know where you are, right? You're going to pay 33, 35%. Some of you are paying actually 40%. So that's important. That helps you to increase your actual investment strategy and your overall average. All right. Let's get back to the video, guys.
I make a little bit of a passive income from that, as well as the capital growth of that. I've also got an over $1.6 million investment portfolio of just stocks. I no longer invest in mutual funds. Actually, I do have one mutual fund still, but primarily a stock portfolio that consists of blue chip stocks, index funds, a variety of different sectors, a lot of dividend paying stocks, some real estate investment trusts, bonds, a number of different investments, and I've also invested in private businesses. I've also done a loan as well. And so I'm going to go over some of the strategies and just kind of give more basic advice. But I want to give you guys an idea that I started from nothing. And I've been able to build myself up to, you know, a millionaire today at 30 years old. So what I'm going to share with you can definitely help you if you're just getting started. It can take time, of course, but I'm going to share with you some just very basic principles that are really important for you to understand. Now, the first and most important thing is to pay yourself first.
Okay, people, paying yourself first. Most people say 10%. Solomon Ali says, pay yourself 30%. I'm gonna set my glasses down here. Pay yourself 30%. Here's why 30% is important. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year. You pay yourself $30,000. You're paying yourself. Now you take that $30,000. You use some of it to invest and everything like that, but you're going to invest in, just like an example I showed you earlier. I'm gonna take the $30,000. I'm only talking about what Solomon Ali is going to do. I'm going to take the $30,000 and I'm going to buy that note, a portion of that note, of that loan, okay? You hear me? I'm gonna take the $30,000, I'm gonna buy a portion of that. When I do that, I already got a 15% return on my money. Just on buying it, just on knowing where to go to purchase it, okay? I get a 15% return on my money. So now I'm already making money, and I'm making serious money. Many times, what I haven't shared with you is these stocks that you buy, okay, or these loans, portions of these loans that you buy, when you convert them to equity, you won't just get a 15% return, people. Your returns may be as high as 300-400%. Because you're investing in the right companies that are doing the right thing within their industries. Look, some of you don't know me, but for the ones of you who do know me, you know this. You've heard of the Ring doorbell camera. We own the intellectual property to that. We license that out to companies like them, to Skybell, CPI, other smart home security companies and things of that nature. We were the ones that came in and invested in that and was disruptive in the industry there, okay? And currently now I'm the CEO of that particular company. But that's what we did. We turned around and invested in an energy company, people. One of the largest minority energy companies, actually it was the largest minority energy company in the United States, with well over 100 million in sales. That's what we did. So when you invest with the right company, the right people who are putting their money in it, your money will tend to grow, and you will hear a lot of it. If you're listening to people that's around you that's not where you want to be, stop listening to them. You need to stop. You need to follow the instructions, whether it's me or someone like me, you need to follow the instructions of people who are doing it. There are some very simple principles. This stuff is really not rocket science. Can we assure or guarantee it's going to work 1,000% of the time? No, we can't. But what we can say is that it works more than it doesn't. Okay, so if it's on scale of 1 to 10, it's probably going to work 7 or 8 times. And that's a significant number of times for something to be successful, especially when you're dealing with large numbers. Large numbers is just being, hey, I'm looking for a company that's going to have triple-digit growth. I'm looking for a company with good management team, a proven track record that can do certain things, that they're not going on a learning curve with your money, okay? Why would you want to go, hey, you figure it out, then we'll invest. That's why I said read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Very important book, changed my life, okay? Helped me to see things totally different, okay? And that's what I'm trying to share with you. So, the investors out there who already follow me and everything, they know, hey, you go to solomonrcali.info to find the notes or the loans that you want to participate in, and, you know, we give you all the research and we share all the research. And again, we're not promoters. We're not market makers. We're not broker dealers. We're none of that. All we're trying to do is provide educational information to you so you can make sound decision. Because there's so many people that's had to bootstrap their companies. They don't know where to go get the money. There's so many people who are very comfortable with what they do for a living, but they're just looking for a different investment. They're happy working where they're working, doing what they're doing, but they're like, hey, I need to make a good investment in a company. I don't want to do the work. I don't want to be the entrepreneur. That's not what I do. I just want to make an investment in the right company and know that, hey, my money is secure. The people are going to be around tomorrow and the business will thrive and things of that nature, and I can share in that growth. And if that's you, that was me. That's how I looked at it. After I lost everything, I wasn't looking to run a company anymore. I don't want running anybody's company. What I was looking for is just to help people out. In fact, I wasn't even looking for an investment opportunity, people. I was through with business. I was done. I was totally done. But I got an opportunity because some people believed in me and they said, can you help this company get the money? And I turned around and I helped them get the money, and here's what I did. I did and provided all my services for a full year for free. But that was because I could afford to do that because I understood what I had and my capabilities. I believed in me. When they said they can do what they said they could do, I trusted that they could do it if they had the resources. So I got them the resources that they need. They did what they said they can do, and it grew. And that what they owed me at the end of the year was supposed to be $250,000, and that $250,000 ended up being almost $1 million in a single year. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of impact making investments in the early stages of these companies, but it's got to be the right companies. It can't be risk and stuff like that. So we're going to get back to it because this guy's really on fire. He's sharing his story. I'm really glad that my team member found this so that we can share it with you. So we're going to get right back to the video.
I'm going to share with you can definitely help you if you're just getting started. It can take time, of course, but I'm going to share with you some just very basic principles that are really important for you to understand. Now, the first and most important thing is to pay yourself first. And that's the first thing that you're going to learn in any investment book or financial book out there, because you need money to invest. You need money that you can put aside to save or invest or whatever it is. And if you don't have that, if you can't take a percentage of what you make and put that aside, then there's no hope for you to be able to grow your net worth and be able to make more money. And so whatever amount of money that you're making right now, whether it's $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000, $10,000 or more, you got to make a decision, the most important financial decision of your life, which is that you're going to take a percentage of what you make. And I recommend 10% at minimum. Take 10% and you're going to put that aside and pay yourself first. You're going to put it in a savings account or an investment account or some other account that you're not going to touch. Very important, okay? Now, you might be saying, well, I don't have the money to do this. I live month to month. Well, maybe the step before that, that's actually even more important, is you got to manage your money. You got to manage your finances, and you got to pay attention to it on a weekly and a monthly basis, because you should never be in a position where you're living month to month. That's a horrible position to be in. That position means that you're never going to be able to get ahead in your life, because living month to month basically means that your expenses are here and your income is here. And so, whatever income that you're making is going right towards your expenses. And the only other options to be able to pay yourself is either you need to make more money and keep your expenses where they're at. So make more so that you have a positive cash flow that you can then take that money and pay yourself first, or you got to lower your expenses. Now, for most people, the best thing to do is to lower your expenses. Cut down on your current living expenses, because if you're living month to month, then you can't afford to live the way that you're living. You're living beyond your means. And that's
People, what he's giving you is some really good, solid advice. Let me just add my spin to it. If you're earning, let's say, let's say $5,000 a month. You're earning $5,000 a month. And we're going to just assume it's after taxes, okay? So you're just earning $5,000 a month after taxes. And your expenses are, let's say, $4,000 a month. All right. Most of you, I know your expenses are probably $5,500 a month. Okay. So I know you maxed out the credit cards, the whole 9 yards. Here's what you do. Decrease your expenses by at least 20%. So take your expenses down. If it's $4,000 a month, okay, I said $4,500, but if it's, we'll do $4,500. If it's $4,500, if that's your expenses, decrease it by $900. Figure out a way to decrease that by $900. Okay? Now, there's some simple ways to actually do that, but that's going to be your first step, is that if your budget is that tight, you need to decrease your expenses by at least 20% right out the gate. So in this scenario, that's $900. Okay. So now you still got the same $5,000 coming in. What I want you to do is increase your revenue. Okay. It may mean for some of you, you have to work a little overtime. It may mean for others, you got to go get a part-time job. Okay. Whatever it is, you're going to have to do. But I want you to increase your revenue, okay, by at least 15%. Increase your revenue. All right. So if I was making $5,000, all right, I need to bring in another what? $750 a month. Now, a lot of you say, well, that's not a lot. I can do that. Right. We don't want it to be a lot, because we don't want you to get taxed and everything and work yourself to death. But the difference of what you've increased your revenue just by adding maybe a few hours extra work a week, you end up with another $750, right? That's important, because now you have what? 9 and 7 is what? You got the 900 you saved, and you got the 700, right? So now you got 1,600, 1,650. Now, every month, you can also use that to attack that debt, that liability, to bring it down. You follow me? So now you can bring that down quickly. So in approximately 7 months, you can actually bring all of those expenses and liabilities down to a more manageable number, so that you're only left with maybe your mortgage payment or your rent payment. And people, if you got a car payment, you shouldn't really have a car payment. Now, there are some other people out there that teach velocity banking and everything. I strongly urge you guys to find them, look it up, and look into velocity banking, because it can help you to bring everything down and give you more money to invest. People, you got to get serious about this. This is your livelihood. This is based on the decisions you have made up to this point, have gotten you right where you are. You can't blame anyone else. I couldn't blame anyone else. The decisions that you have made have taken you right to where you are today. So now let's change it around. And all I'm trying to do is give you some information because, again, I was living in an 18,000 square foot home, thereabout, okay? And there was a $300 and something dollar electric bill we couldn't pay. We couldn't pay it, didn't have the money to pay it. Had the Mercedes, the Porsche, well, the Porsche got repoed. The other cars didn't get repoed for some reason. I don't know if they just couldn't find them or whatever. But I was going to take my own life because we went from making millions and millions of dollars every month, paying our people and everything of that nature, and couldn't pay a $300 bill, electric bill. My God, you can't imagine how embarrassing that was with a business that we thought would last forever. So this is kind of stuff I'm trying to keep you from. This is the stuff I'm trying to share with you. And the sad part about it was this. I had all the tools. I knew what to do. I didn't get lucky. I didn't build the business by osmosis. We built it by skill, but because one person made a few mistakes and they didn't like some things about me or whatever the case was, they done some things, and because I didn't use all the tools that I had at that I was exposed to, here's what happened. I couldn't pay that bill of $318. I'm living in this big home and everything like that. And so now, a company that gave me the tools was a company that was 50 years old. Well, they weren't 50 years old at the time. They're 50 years old today. I've been doing business with them for about 30 something years, okay? Was Laughlin. They helped me to set up a trust, irrevocable trust. They helped me to set up my corporations and my LLCs in the right structure so that the pain wouldn't come back home. And you know what I did? Here's what I did. I bought the program, I bought everything, spent thousands of dollars, and I sat it on the shelf. And I said, I have time, I'll get to it, I'll implement it. The program was a Warbucks strategy, and I liked the name Warbucks. And so I bought it and spent thousands of dollars. In fact, I think my mother helped me actually pay for it back then in the day, okay? And set it on the shelf. And then when everything went wrong, realized if I would have implemented the things that I had already bought, that I already had at my disposal, it would have saved me. It would have saved me. I would not have lost everything. I wouldn't have lost over 100 million in assets and things like that. I wouldn't have lost. I may have lost the business, but we would have still owned all the properties and the commercial properties and things like that. We would have still owned all the cars. I would not have lost. So what I'm sharing with you is this. It's very personal, but you have to understand, you got to acquire knowledge. I'm giving you knowledge for free. I'm not charging you anything. I don't want anything from you. Minority Business Access, I'm trying to help people who look like me or people who are bootstrapping a business, a struggling business or a business, and they need funds. They need capital. They don't know where to go. Or people who are looking for the right investments and they don't know how to find that investment. They don't know where to go and where to look for it at. And that's why my team is doing all this research, okay, to try to help people. This is our way of giving back to help you so that you can understand, yes, it's possible to get a 300-400% return, 1,000% return. Listen, I was accused of making stocks go up over 30,000% by the SEC. So they accused me of doing that, going 30,000%. I don't think anybody else could make that claim. They made it go up 30,000%. Okay, so in fact, I still don't make the claim, but they made the claim in a complaint against me. So people, life is not over. What it means is this: do your work. You don't have to lie. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to steal in business. You have to be able to do the work. If you're an investor looking for the right investment and you don't know what to invest in, hey, we don't do market making and all that, promoting and anything, but we do try to educate people. Look us up. Call SolomonRCAli.info. Look us up. Go there. Figure out what kind of companies we're working with and use it as a tool so you know what to invest in. the companies that we're working with, you might not be interested in, be frankly honest. But at least you can pick up the tools and learn, hey, this is how they're doing it. This is how they're making money. I can use the same tools and do the same thing because now I understand how to make investments and get that type of return. Hey, don't throw your money just at chance. Don't just go buy a stock because everybody else is buying a stock. Don't buy a stock where you don't know the management team. You don't understand what they're doing. You don't understand the industry and things of that nature. You need to read. You need to find out the information and then you will make money, okay? No learning, no money. That's the bottom line. You got to go on a quest for knowledge to learn. And if you're learning, your earning is going to go up. I can promise you that one.
It's not smart financially. Most people that live in a house or they rent an apartment or rent something that they can't afford. They have a car that they can't afford. They're buying food and luxuries that they can't afford. And you got to make a sacrifice. And this is coming from someone, I was in debt at one point in my life. When I came to this realization, I had to make a sacrifice. I had to, for example, I had to move back into my parents' house, or I had to live with my friend on his couch for several months, or I had to...
See, I had to do that too. In fact, I had to move in, man, this wasn't too long ago. This when we doubled down. I had to move in with some in-laws, okay, for about a year and a half. And I was like, good Lord, it was the most embarrassing thing. And this was the second time, okay? And I hadn't lost everything. The first time I lost everything, my wife ended up finding a job and they took care of our housing and everything like that. But the second time, after we made a whole bunch of investments, and we were owed about 20 million in investments and stuff from various companies. Well, I'll tell you what company, I won't tell you what company it is. It was dealing with smart technology. We had to go out and start suing everyone who were infringing on our technology. And the first thing everyone told us, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to win any of these lawsuits. We told them right is right and wrong is wrong. Let's go. Let's keep moving forward. The first 5 companies settled in less than 120 days after seeing our intellectual property. They settled in 120 days. So sometimes people, you have to surround yourself with people who believe in you, and you have to believe in yourself. That's why you don't have to lie, cheat, or steal. You have to know and be confident in what you're doing and why you're doing it, okay? So we all have the stories. You hear he has a story. His wasn't as harsh as mine. Sometimes I think the lower you fall, the higher you bounce back up. I don't know if that's just a universal law that God put in place, but I am very thankful and grateful for the world that we live in and for how everything has turned out, okay? And it will turn out that way for you as well. But you don't have to go learn the principles, stumbling, bumbling, and trying to figure it out. Let us help you get through the minefield so you can get to the other side, because there is a path to this, you can start making money and have a nice life, if that's what you're looking for.
Eat at home and not eat out as much, or not go out as much, or take the bus and get rid of my car. These are all sacrifices that you might need to make in order to bring down your expenses so that you have that positive cash flow. Very important, okay? Look at your current lifestyle now. Look to see and set a budget for yourself that you're not gonna spend more than X amount of money. Anything in excess, you're gonna save that, you're gonna pay yourself first. The reason why first is because
when I had to start over, I was a single man. And the young lady I was interested in, we were kind of friendly with each other, but I was interested in her. And I said, look, I'd like to take you out. And she was like, okay. I said, but you're gonna have to pay for the bills because my buddy is funny. And she was like, well, I never heard that line before. And I said, no, I'm serious. I think you're pretty. I think you're really smart. But if you give me an opportunity, I promise you, you won't be where you are working the job that you're working. Now, guys and ladies, a guy has to be real bold to tell a woman that he's interested in. His money is funny. I want you to take me out and you pay for the meals and stuff. And honest to God, I mean, she gave me a chance. She took me out and we went out on many dates and things like that and she paid. But guess what? She's a millionaire today. She's a millionaire today. She wasn't a millionaire when I met her. She was working a job where she was making about $50,000 or $60,000 a year, give or take, maybe a little bit more, but give or take. Okay, that's what having positive people, the right people who have the knowledge, the expertise, that's what they can do. You know, I could have been that guy that sat over there and said, oh well, you know, I changed her life. I changed her family's life. Okay, she changed my life. Because again, it was someone who believed in me. People, you have to find people to believe in you. If your dreams are going to come true, you need people around you who believe in you. So I just wanted to share that with you because when he was saying what he was saying, I thought about, hey, how I was cutting my budget. It was like, hey, I told people real quick, my money funny. So if you want to sit and talk, or hey, even my boyfriends and stuff like that, where we're just gonna hang out. I guess I should call them guy friends, but anyway, you know what I mean. Where we're just gonna hang out. It was like, look, I'm not buying anything because my money had to go to an investment, and everybody that knew me knew that about me. And so when I asked this young lady out, you know, she was like, hey, I ain't heard that before. And so it was pretty cool though. So I got the date and she got what she wanted in the end, which was kind of sort of me, I guess, but we no longer have that, but she did become a millionaire.
Why they say pay yourself first is because you're supposed to pay yourself that money before anything else, before you pay your bills, your rent, or anything else. Okay, that's how important that you have to make this. Okay, so that's the first step. Maybe I'll do another video that will go into managing money and financing, but you got to pay yourself first, 10%. I don't care if that's $100 a month, $25 a month, $1,000 a month. You got to make sure that you're doing that. To give you guys an idea, I started that way, but now because my business and my cash flow is really big, I'm able to pay myself like 80% of what I make, right? Just because I have low expenses and very high margins in my business. And so therefore, I'm able to literally tens of thousands of dollars every month, invest that to be able to grow more my portfolio and everything like that. So you want to be in that position where you have positive cash flow, number one. Number two is you need to make sure that you have an emergency fund of savings. Okay, very important. If you don't have that, then you're going to be in trouble, okay? Typically, what all the financial books say, you want to have at least 3 months to 6 months of savings, which is typical of your expenses. So if your
let's pause it for 1 second.
$2,000 a month.
People, he's getting that from the financial books and everything you read. But if any of you remember what happened in 2008, 3 months wasn't enough, 6 months wasn't enough. Most people did not get another job. It took them over a year. So I would tell you that if we ever go through another crash, that you need to have at least a year and a half in reserves, okay, if you're going to survive that crash, all right? Those days of 3 months, 6 months, that crap is over with. It's taking people a lot longer to replace their income to find a new job. So you need to have at least a year to a year and a half to be able to replace your income or to live off of until that time comes. You know, I'm running out of time because I've been so long-winded and everything of that nature, so please forgive me for that. But I think I still gave you some valuable stuff that you could actually get. So, you know, seek knowledge. Don't be afraid to pay for knowledge. Go to the seminar, go to the different things, get the knowledge that you don't know. Hire the right consultants, hire the right people around you to help guide you because see, they've already gone through it. They can keep you from making the mistakes that they have made because they've learned already. And that will just help you to get there. Next thing, hey, please don't hire somebody as a consultant that's here just starting out, that don't know anything. Don't hire someone that's just doing their job day by day and that's it. You want the top guy. You want to find the top 10 people in their industry doing what they do. The top 10, okay, doing what they do. They're going to have a bigger network. People are going to like them. You're going to be able to leverage their networks. You know, that's what we do at Solomon R.C. Ali for our clients. We help to leverage our network for the benefit of our clients, okay? And that's extremely important. You know, guys, I got a book coming out in 2021. It's a must read, okay? I'm not going to compare it to the barbershop book or The Richest Man in Babylon or anything like that, but here's what I'm going to say. If you read the book, it will change your life. That's what I will say. If you read the book, it will change your life. It will get you to where you're trying to go. It will keep you from stepping on those minefields. So thank you guys so very much for tuning in to Minority Business Access. Again, thank you so very much. If you have questions or anything, reach out to my team and I at solomonrcali.info. Again, thank you so very much for tuning in and have a wonderful, wonderful week.
You've reached the end of another episode of the Minority Business Access Podcast. Connect with us at solomonrcali.info to leave a review and access more resources. We hope you enjoyed this show and found great value. See you at the next episode.